3, I can't see. This is a test, by the way. I'm Jim Munchback, and I'm posting this to all of my YouTube pages and Facebook pages. So I'm hoping if you happen to be interrupted this afternoon, it's Friday, 27 January, year of our Lord, 2023. And again, I'm Jim Munchback if you don't know me, and I apologize if I'm interrupting something on your stream. But this is a test. I'm sitting outside. It's Stephen F. Austin State Park. It's a beautiful place. I have Starlink over there in the corner. You can't really see it, but that's my internet tool, and it's a test. I want to figure out if I can run my business from a campsite. Starlink is Elon Musk. Uh, it's a tool for internet, and it's working, but it doesn't work. Like I did a Zoom meeting this week, and it wasn't great. I got interrupted, froze up. So I'm doing a test. This is just a test, and I'm streaming this through the tool that I use to stream to my online course at the University of Houston at the Bauer College of Business. So I will be able to go and check this myself on all of my pages and YouTube channels to see if it's working. But I'm hoping if you're watching, you'll leave a message and just tell me about the quality of the video. This is a very inexpensive Razer Kio webcam. I have a better webcam. I just didn't get it in time to bring it to camp today. And I bought this very inexpensive Fifine microphone, which I'm going to send back. And I'm sitting here doing what I do on a Friday, getting ready to place some trades for next week. And you can see what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the SPY. Been a pretty good day, pretty good week in the market. Next week, the Fed will announce their intentions for interest rate hikes moving forward, and that's obviously something we want to pay very close attention to. And so the trades that I'm placing now for next week are, well, I'm just not sure. So here's the thing. If the Fed comes out and they're dovish and they say that they've raised interest rates sufficiently to fight inflation, we'll all celebrate that, and the market will have a pretty big up day, and we don't want to miss that. On the other hand, if they say something other than that, if they say, inflation is here, it's still a problem, and they want to fight it, continue to raise interest rates more than the market is expecting, then obviously the market is very likely to tank from these levels. So you can see that chart. It's been a pretty good couple of weeks. That's a 6-month chart for the SPY, which is a really good proxy for the market. If you follow me at all, you know that this is, if you could only invest in one vehicle, this is not investment advice. But if it was investment advice, wink, wink, it would be good investment advice. Probably what what's his name, Warren Buffett would say is invest in the S&P 500. Well, if you did want to invest in the S&P 500, you would invest in the SPY. It's my favorite investment vehicle. So I'm looking at options, thinking about putting on some calls, protective calls. We call those covered calls, especially if you're working in a tax qualified account like an IRA. Then we would be selling some calls to cover your holdings. So today the SPY is trading at $406. So if we wanted to put on some covered calls, I would look up here and I would find one that's out of the money enough, meaning that it's very likely or hopefully likely to just produce some income. So we would get the premium for the call by selling the call. And so I look at this to see what's the bid, what's the ask, but mainly I want to see what is the delta. So what is the likelihood of these calls expiring worthless? So I need to show some more strikes. I'll show 50 strikes. So a strike is at what price? So obviously, well, not obviously, but let's say we sold a call to protect our investment right at the money. The money is 406. SPY, they'll go bye-bye, and you will basically lose any opportunity for the upside. But you will get to keep the $500 premium. But if it goes up 10% or 5%, then you missed out on a pretty big opportunity. So we wouldn't want to. We want to find the call that we can sell that has a much lower delta, much lower basically probability of hitting this price. So I look for somewhere in the 0.1, 0.10 is good. But if you look at that one, you see that the premium on that is just not that high. It's pretty low. So basically, we're going to get 50 cents, which is $50 for every contract. That's $50. If you have 100 shares of SPY, you'd get paid $50. So if you have 1,000 shares, you'd get paid $500. And the likelihood of the SPY going to 420 in the time that this expires, which is February 3rd, that's a week from today, that's not, it's only 10% likely, basically. And then what I'm looking for is, I want to see how much. So if we sell, let's say we did sell the 420, I'm not going to do that because it's just not enough premium. If I'll go into that in my course on how to trade options, but right now I'm just speaking out loud, doing a test at the campsite, testing the camera, the laptop, the Starlink, and the Fifine mic, and all the other technology that is going on. And you see, as we're talking, the S&P 500, the SPY, it's going up. And so if I open that chart to, let's say, a 5-day, 30-minute chart, that's what that chart looks like. So this is what I do. By the way, I'm about to hire someone to train to replace me because this part of the job takes way too much time. And as you can see, I have other things to do with my life. But I'm committed to you if you're a client, and for my own investments, this is what I do. But I am going to be hiring someone. And so if you're interested in learning more about the opportunity to become an investment advisor, an investment portfolio manager, I'm going to be teaching that. And my goal will be to hire someone to replace me. But anyway, I'm looking now at a 5-day, 30-minute chart. So you can see that that's, the S&P 500 is doing really well today, this week, for the last, you see there, 5 days. But the chart that I like to stick with to give me a trend, to show me what's likely over a longer period of time, longer than 5 days, is the 6-month chart. And you can see what that. So if I were to ask you, if it was your money, you had $1 million invested, let's say that half of it was in bonds, and if half of it was in bonds, then we would be looking at, say, half of it is in SPY and half of it is in TLT. Now, this is not investment advice, but if it was, wink, wink, it would be pretty good advice. With your $1 million, you might be half in TLT and half in SPY. Now, if we look at a 1-year chart for this, or let's look at a 2-year daily chart. This is the TLT. This is bonds. So look at that chart and see where we are today on the bond section, the bond sleeve of your portfolio. Now, obviously, we wouldn't just have one holding, but TLT is a pretty good proxy for bonds. And so it looks like I froze up. Bummer. Yeah, that was what I was afraid of. I was afraid I was going to freeze up. And it looks like I have frozen up. So I'm going to end this, and maybe I'll come back later after I figure out if this is going to work. But I don't think it's going to work because I froze up.